I never imagined that a quiet weekend at my lake cabin would turn into the single most chaotic showdown I'd ever witnessed. And trust me, I've fought with the HOA more times than I can count. The cabin sat deep in the pines, isolated, peaceful, and legally outside the HOA's jurisdiction. They hated that my little slice of freedom existed just a mile past their imaginary kingdom of rules and violations. So when I pulled up that chilly morning, frost still clinging to the porch railings and the lake as still as glass, I had no idea the storm that was waiting to hit me. Inside, the fireplace crackled gently. The cabin smelled like pine sap and cedar smoke. And sitting calmly in my leather armchair was the last person anyone expected to see there. The state attorney general. A woman with a voice that could slice through steel and a stare that could make a politician fold in seconds. She'd agreed to meet me here privately, away from HOA eyes, to review documents about a massive embezzlement scheme several HOA board members were involved in. We were mid-conversation when it happened. A heavy thud on the front deck. Then another. Then the unmistakable slam of the door getting shoved open. I didn't even get the chance to stand before she stormed inside. HOA Karen. Hair sprayed into combat position. Designer cream suit. Clutching her binder like she was about to declare martial law on my property. She barged in with no warning, no knock, just pure entitlement. Her voice cut through the cabin like a siren. You need to get out of this house right now. She pointed at me like I'd broken into my own place. I stared at her, speechless. But she wasn't done. This cabin is under HOA review, she yelled. And you are trespassing on restricted land. Behind her, 2 police officers stepped into the doorway. Their expressions a mix of confusion and embarrassment. They had clearly not been told the truth about where they were being dragged to. Karen marched in another step, heels stabbing the wooden floor. I'm citing you for illegal residency, unapproved construction, and interference with community governance. The Attorney General slowly crossed one leg over the other, watching each second unfold like she was taking notes for a future courtroom takedown. Karen didn't even notice her. She was too busy jabbing her finger inches from my face. Pack your things, she snapped. The HOA is seizing this property until further investigation. I finally spoke. This cabin isn't even in the HOA. She scoffed. Everything within a 5-mile radius is the HOA's jurisdiction. The Attorney General raised an eyebrow so sharply it could have cut the air in half. Karen kept ranting. You think you're clever? Think you can hide from us out here? Oh no, sweetheart. The HOA finds everything. Then, mid-tirade, she finally turned around and saw who was sitting behind her. She froze. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again like a glitching robot. Her face drained so fast it was like someone unplugged her. The Attorney General didn't move, didn't smile, didn't blink. She simply asked, in the calmest, most controlled voice imaginable, "And who exactly gave you the authority to enter private property without a warrant?" Karen stammered, I'm with the HOA. That's not a government agency. Karen swallowed hard. I represent the community. No, you don't, the Attorney General said. And you've just committed criminal trespass. The officers behind Karen straightened immediately, their eyes widening. Karen spun around toward them. Officers, arrest him. She pointed at me again. He's interfering with HOA operations. The officers didn't move. One of them finally spoke. Ma'am, we were told there was a break-in emergency. Not this. Karen's left eye twitched. She tried to recover. Well, we still have authority here and... No, the Attorney General said. You don't. Karen's voice cracked. Who are you? The Attorney General stood slowly, smoothing her blazer. The person investigating your HOA for fraud, harassment, and illegal enforcement actions. Karen stepped back like she'd been hit by a truck. The officers exchanged looks. The cabin was dead silent, except for the steady pop of the firewood. Karen whispered, This is a misunderstanding, but the Attorney General wasn't having it. She stepped closer. No, What you did today was a crime, and the only question now is whether you walk out of this cabin or are escorted out. Karen looked at the officers again. Her confidence shattered. Her voice shrank. Can we talk outside, please? But this wasn't over. Not even close. Because the Attorney General turned toward me next and said, "Let's reveal everything." And Karen's world, her entire HOA reign of terror, was about to crumble. The second Karen stepped outside with the officers. The Attorney General shut the cabin door behind her. The sound echoed through the room like the ending of an era. "We're done playing defense," she said. "It's time to expose everything." The folder on the coffee table contained every piece of evidence I'd collected over the past 8 months. Documents the HOA tried to hide, illegal fines they extorted from dozens of homeowners, emails showing how they manipulated board elections, and even blueprints of unauthorized territory expansions they attempted to force into county records. Karen's power grab wasn't just obsessive. It was criminal. The Attorney General reviewed each page calmly. No emotion, just focus. The type of focus that meant someone's entire empire was about to fall apart. Outside, Karen paced back and forth like a caged animal, trying desperately to spin the narrative. I could hear her muffled voice through the window, pleading, bargaining, lying, blaming rogue board members, claiming she was just following procedure. But for once, nobody was buying it. The Attorney General finished reading the last page and placed the folder down with finality. "This," she said, "is enough to indict half the board." She stepped to the window and looked out at Karen. "And she knows it." Minutes later, Karen tried to come back inside. Not forcefully this time, she knocked. A soft knock. A scared knock. The Attorney General opened the door just enough for Karen to see her. Karen swallowed. "Can we work something out?" she asked, her voice trembling. I didn't know. It wasn't supposed to go like this. Breaking into private property," the Attorney General said, "was your choice." Karen tried to smile, but her lips kept shaking. "You have to understand. I have responsibilities. People rely on me." "No," the Attorney General said. "People fear you. That's not leadership." Karen wilted. She looked past the Attorney General at me, desperate. You could drop the complaint," she whispered. "Just let this go, please." I stood and walked closer. "Karen," I said quietly, "you've harassed everyone for years. You bankrupt families with illegal fines. You blackmail homeowners. You bully seniors. And today you broke into my cabin." Her eyes widened with panic. "You don't understand what will happen if this gets out," Karen whispered. "I'll lose everything." The Attorney General didn't blink. "That's not his problem," she said. Karen's composure finally cracked. She sank onto the porch railing, head in her hands, breathing fast and uneven. The officers approached her carefully. One of them asked, "Ma'am, do you have anything to say before we proceed?" Karen looked up, defeated. Her voice broke. "I was just trying to make the HOA powerful." The Attorney General answered coldly, "HOAs aren't supposed to be powerful. They're supposed to be accountable." The officers placed her under temporary detainment while the Attorney General prepared the official paperwork. Karen didn't fight it, didn't argue, didn't scream. All the fire was gone. Hours later, after statements were taken and evidence secured, the Attorney General sat by the fireplace again. "You did the right thing," she said. "It didn't feel like it," I replied. She nodded. "That's because people like her count on everyone being too afraid to stand up." Outside, the sun dipped behind the pines. The lake glowed orange. The world finally felt quiet again. "Once this goes public," the Attorney General continued, "your entire community will be free from her control, and the board members involved will face consequences." I exhaled slowly. It was over. Really over. The Attorney General gathered her files and stood. "Thank you for cooperating," she said. "You've helped more people than you realize." She stepped outside, leaving the cabin warm, peaceful, and finally, safe. As her car pulled away and the last bit of daylight faded, I sat down in the silence. Karen's reign was finished. And for the first time in years, the entire neighborhood was about to breathe again.